In 2011, a small Swedish salvage team was doing routine work on the floor of the Baltic Sea, scanning for any shipwrecks or cargo. What appeared on the screen that day has never been explained, not by scientists, not by the government, not by anyone. Ocean X Team is a Swedish diving and salvage company led by explorer Peter Lindberg. In the summer of 2011, they were running a routine sonar survey of the northern Baltic seabed, the same stretch of water they had worked dozens of times before. On June 19, 2011, everything stopped being routine. "140 feet beneath the Baltic Sea, the water is dark, cold, and almost completely still. A dive team descends towards something they found entirely by accident, something they still cannot explain. The object sat 300 feet below the surface. Peter Lindberg has spent 20 years working the ocean floor. He said he had never seen anything like it. The symmetry of it was unlike anything he had encountered in his 20 years of work. It was too round, too structured, too unnatural. And the moment the team gets close enough, all their electronics stop working." When Ocean X released the sonar images in 2012, the reaction was instant and global. A crash UFO, an anti-submarine device, a natural volcanic formation, perhaps a Russian military installation, or a hoax. Everyone had a theory, but nobody had an answer. The scientific community urged caution. Sonar images can distort shapes. Natural geological formations in the Baltic are unusual and varied. Without physically going down there, any conclusions were premature. So, in the summer of 2012, the Ocean X team went back, this time with divers. The dive team descended towards the object with full camera equipment and satellite communication gear, all of it functioning perfectly on the surface. When they approached within approximately 200 meters of the object, the satellite phones went dead. Equipment that had been working perfectly fine just moments ago suddenly stopped working completely. But when they moved away, it all came back. All the equipment worked just fine. They tested this multiple times and the results were the same. But despite the interference, the divers reached the object. What they described when they surfaced only deepened the mystery. The surface was covered in a soot-like substance, as though something had burned. There were right angles, channels cut into the rock that did not look like natural erosion, a circular opening on the top surface, and the outer rim was raised and distinct, not like something that had gradually formed over thousands of years. The team retrieved physical rock samples and brought them to the surface, then sent them to a laboratory. Geologists analyzed the samples. Their findings were both clarifying and deeply incomplete. The material is volcanic rock, natural, not really manufactured at all. However, there is evidence of oxidation on the surface that cannot be fully accounted for at that depth. The rock is natural, but certain things about it cannot be explained. The symmetry, they said, was a trick of perception, the human brain finding patterns where none exist. It has a name, pareidolia, but pareidolia does not turn off a satellite phone. Let's summarize what we know. A circular formation 200 feet across sits on the floor of the Baltic Sea with a 900-foot trail behind it. Divers who approached it reported consistent, location-specific, reversible electronic failures across multiple independent devices. But the rock samples were natural. The interference was never explained. No major scientific institution had formally investigated the site, and no funded research expedition has ever been launched. The object is still down there, 300 feet below the surface, sitting in the dark, and every time someone gets close enough to find out what it really is, the cameras stop working.